Hello, friends. My name is Hannah, or here at Kesem, I'm better known as Alaska, and I am a program director and alumni from University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and I am so glad that you are here to hang out with me today, and we're going to learn to tell some stories and make some art. Can't wait. The reason why I was so excited to do this is I love stories, especially stories about Kesem, and I love to make things. With art, there are so many different avenues to try and materials and techniques to explore. It's the perfect activity to express yourself and to try or learn something new. So what we're going to do together today is I am going to show you how I used a story or a poem about Kesem and created a visual story to go along with it, and I'll give you some tips and tricks and the materials that I used to hopefully help inspire you, and then I'll show you what my final product turned out to look like. And then we can brainstorm together things that you can use to create your own story to tell, and then how you can turn that into a visual art project to share your really awesome Kesem stories with your even more awesome Kesem family. So the first thing, and arguably the most important thing that you're going to need, is a story to tell. I used a poem that was written by Oz, who's a student at Northwestern, after she received a really special email from a camper parent. And this poem is about a unicorn who doesn't fit in until she finds a really special magical place that she can now call her home. And I remember reading it for the first time, and I saw these pictures playing in my head, and I wanted to turn them into real life and put them on paper so that other people can see what I was seeing when I heard this really, really awesome poem about Kesem magic. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek into the materials that I'll use, and then I will show you how I created some of the aspects of this visual poem about Kesem magic and unicorns. What could be better?
So all of the supplies that I used for this were just some normal pieces of printer paper, a pencil, an eraser, of course, a black pen or a marker, all of your favorite colored pencils, some scissors, and then some tape. And now I'm going to show you what I did with these things. So the first thing that I did was I printed out some pictures of unicorns that I wanted because I had to make a lot, and I thought this would be a little bit more time effective. So then I just used my pencil and I traced a rough sketch of the outline of one of my little characters. And then once I had that, I used my black pen and gave it a final outline of the shape that I wanted. And then once I had that final outline, I went ahead and picked some colors and used my colored pencils to fill it in and really bring some life to this little guy. This is where you can get really creative and bring whatever picture you have in your head to real life. And then I wanted to cut my little unicorn out so it could move around a little bit more freely, and there were a lot of details, so cutting it out took a little bit longer than I thought. And then once you have your little guy, I want to show you how I created some moving pieces in this. So I am going to pull out another unicorn that I already had prepared, and then a strip of paper and a little piece of tape. And you're going to take the strip of paper and you're going to tape it to the back of the thing that you want to move, and then it acts as kind of like a puppet, and you can move it along as you wish without your hand being in the shot. Another thing that I did to create movement is I wanted the horn to grow, and so I cut the horn off, taped it to another strip of paper, and then just slid it behind my little character, so when you're looking at it close up, all you see is the horn moving up and down like it's growing. And then this last little tip that I'm going to show you for how to create movement with my little paper puppet unicorns is to draw a scene or an environment that you want your character to be in. For this example, I'm using a field of flowers. So you can draw whatever it is that you're envisioning your character moving through or existing in. And then once you have that, you're going to take some scissors and you're going to cut a strip through the middle of it, but not cutting all the way through. And then once you have your strip, you're going to take your paper, slide it behind, and then you'll be able to move it across. And it will look like it is perfectly walking across this little scene that you created. Incredible. Okay, now with all these techniques, I'm going to show you what my final product looks like.
Once there was a unicorn
who thought she was alone, who thought she was the only one who didn't have a home. This unicorn was different, but she didn't start that way. She was just like the others up until that day. That day it started normal, almost boring, just the same as Monday, just like Tuesday, but then Wednesday came. Everything turned upside down, turned into something new. She now had a single horn, and inch by inch it grew. This horn, it shouted different. It had nothing else to say. It made her stick out from the rest. It seemed it'd stay that way. Until one day it didn't. The horn no longer shone. The unicorn now blended in, and she wasn't so alone. She found a place tucked away with magic at its seams that teemed and tumbled, burst and beamed beyond her wildest dreams. She found a place that's not too far. She visits once a year and lives amongst the unicorns, for it's only unicorns here. Her horn, it hasn't gone away. It's really here for good. But now she feels connected, not so misunderstood. Once there was a unicorn who thought she was alone. Then magic came, and magic stayed, and helped her find a home.
So now that you saw my story turned visual story, I would love for you to think about what stories you have or what stories you might want to create to tell. I am sure you have so many. It could be a funny memory from a cabin chat. It could be a story about your favorite counselor or your favorite camper or someone who inspires you. It could be your own story. It could be your favorite camp song. There's some really silly ones out there. Those could make really, really funny stories. Sift through all of the really awesome Kesem memories you have and the people that you know who could be characters in your stories. And you can craft one from real life, or you can create a whole new world inspired by your Kesem experiences, like this unicorn one, for example. Once you have that, there are so many different things that you can do to turn it into a visual story. You can do something like I did, where you just draw pictures on paper and make them move a little bit. You could just draw a picture of it if that is cool to you also. You could paint it. You could grab your Kesem friends if they are near and accessible to you, and you could act it out and film a little movie together. I'm sure a lot of you are way better at technology than I am, and find some really cool things that you could do to animate it with an app or something with an iPad. There are so many different things that you could do to turn those really awesome stories and memories and experiences that you have and probably tell or want to tell all the time, and then turn them into something visual that's a little bit easier to share exactly the experience that you had or exactly what you picture in your head when you remember that really awesome magical moment at the end of the week or at the beginning of the week or at a friends and family day or maybe even during your Kesem at home. So I encourage you to all think about your favorite Kesem memory and create and craft a story that you want to tell, and then make it turn to life so that you can share it with all of your Kesem and non-Kesem friends and family and loop everybody into the really awesome magic that is Kesem. Before we go, I just want to remind all of you that you all are your own magical, wonderful, colorful unicorns, and at Kesem, you are never alone and will always have this family and community to lean on for support and create more Kesem stories and more Kesem memories in the years to come. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you create your own stories. If you do, we would love to see them. You can post them on Instagram or Facebook and tag us so we can see your awesome creations. If you want to see more programs like this, be sure to tune in on Mondays and Thursdays. And it's been a blast and a half, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Bye, everyone.